welcome in. It's edition number 2 of the Ultimate Aggie Podcast. If you don't know what an Ultimate Aggie is, ask your Utah State friend. And if you are a Utah State fan and you don't know what an Ultimate Aggie is, shame on you, because you did not have the true Utah State experience.
Let me just say, I went to UC Santa Barbara, and there was probably all levels of weirdness. I never heard of anything like the Ultimate Aggie. Nothing. There's nothing.
Oh, come on.
There's nothing that compares.
Come on. In Santa Barbara, you guys are all about public nudity. That has to have been, there had to have been something down there.
There is a nude beach, and I have one story about it that I can't tell on the air.
Even on podcast form, huh?
Yeah, okay. I can sort of tell it.
All right.
I will change the names, withhold the names, but there was an athlete that they wanted to recruit on one of the teams there quite badly, and a coach who was quite motivated to recruit said athlete took him to a cliff overlooking said nude beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From the description of where it is, it's actually difficult to access, as those things tend to be.
But there's a view from a cliff, and it's like, hey,
apparently the athlete did commit.
You come to Santa Barbara, this could all be yours.
I believe that message was not spoken aloud; it was just understood.
Yes. All right. So UNLV.
That's still not the same as the Ultimate Aggie story, though. I just don't see. Well, I don't know what it is. 4, 6, 8, 10, however many guys saying, "Hey, I got an idea."
Yeah. You never want to be the caboose on that one, though. That's for sure. All right. Sorry.
Anything? You just want to talk about anything except the UNLV game.
I do not want to talk about the UNLV game.
Was an opportunity lost. Opportunity was on multiple occasions.
Right there. And the thing is that defense played really well against a really high-powered offense. Mm-hmm. And it's like, look, if you knew Bronco and Nick Howell at BYU, it's the same kind of defense. We're going to give up yards. We'll concede field goals. But we're going to buckle up when you get inside that 20-yard line. Broncos' MO, field goals won't beat us. Field goals won't beat us. And guess what? For the most part, they held true with that. Gave up a lot of yards, gave up a lot of big explosive plays, but at the end of the day, they held and forced field goals in the red zone and gave Utah State every opportunity with Bryson Barnes on that 58-yard touchdown run. Beautiful play call into a blitz. Smart. You give up the field goal on the other end, and you're right there. All you got to do is knock in that field goal at the end of regulation. You miss it. All right? Well, guess what? You got a field goal at the end of the first overtime. You miss it. And then, of course, in the second overtime, you make your field goal, but then you give up the touchdown, and it's all she wrote. I've been a part of some rough games.
But that was right up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kevin White asked me that on the radio broadcast. He's like, if we had a game comparable to this, and I couldn't think of one that was as just heart-wrenching and gut-punchy and everything you could possibly think of. The only thing I could think of in terms of being on the broadcast, Utah State, on that year that they beat San Diego State in the Mountain West Conference Championship game, the Sam Merrill shot, they played at Boise State. They had an 18-point lead with about 3.5 minutes left, and they lost that game in overtime. That's about the only thing that I can feel is somewhat comparable to what that football team experienced. So you talked to Bronco as we record this on Monday. Mm-hmm. You talked to Bronco earlier today. I'm going to talk to him here in a couple hours. How's he holding up? Where's he at?
There were 3 takeaways. The first question I asked him, you can go listen to the interview wherever you get your podcast, was you're supposed to flush this after 24 hours, right? And they do fudge on that a little bit because you got to watch film as a team on Monday. But then it's over and you're out to practice. Yeah. Like Bronco. And, that's the rule, but there's an exception to every rule.
For sure.
And he's like, oh, we're not going to forget this one.
Yeah.
You got to move on and prep for the next one. He said, we're going to remember this for a long time, maybe just remember it forever. Games that got away. Now, I can remember games in high school, and obviously it doesn't matter, and it was friggin' decades ago, and, so what? But it still bugs you. Why wasn't that foul called at the end of the game? I heard, bam! What happened? Yeah. And I think, how come they didn't make one of those kicks along the way? Now, some of the early kicks, to be fair, that would have changed everything that came after, so who knows? Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, the missed extra point, the 3, it just more. At the end of regulation, they thought they were going to win, and in that first overtime, they were sure they were going to win. Just a total gut punch. Just complete and total gut punch. So he went in depth on how much it hurt and how long it was going to hurt for. And I did say, you're famous for saying there's 4 or 5 plays, but I think there's 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And, and you've watched the film and I haven't, so maybe you would say there's 20 or 30. I mean, it's the nature of a game that goes to overtime that there are all these woulda, coulda, shouldas. I did ask him about going for 2. There are people who believe that when you get the penalty on the extra point, that changes the odds dramatically, and you ought to just go for the 2. But he fell in. He didn't use these words. These are Scotty G words. He didn't say chasing point. He said, I thought we'd get the point back at some point.
Yeah. By the way, I agree wholeheartedly. Never chase points early in a game.
But that's all based on where the ball is, and if the ball is closer to the goal line, and the way they run the ball, pick up the yard and take the 2 points and punish people for the penalty. And I think there are people who think that regardless, not just to make up for a missed one, because I get in the situation, it's like, we'll kick the point and take the 10-point lead. There is some logic to that. But there are people who would tell you, if it's 20-7 and they give you the free yard, as Kyle Whittingham would say, that changes the analytics. What are the odds you're going to pick up that yard?
Yeah, those are nerds, and we don't like to talk to them.
But it's a free point. If you're going to be an idiot and commit a penalty, I'm going to punish the mistake.
Yeah.
That's a soccer expression for you. Punish the mistake. They made a mistake, but they didn't punish it. But then I thought the biggest thing, which PK and I talked about earlier, and what is trending, and we were both on the same page in this, and I'm curious what you guys thought and said in the broadcast booth as it was happening. When they got the ball in overtime, UNLV had it first. So when Utah State got the ball, and you just need 3, but the first thing I thought is the last thing you want to do is give this kid a 42-yard field goal after he's just had the struggles he's had, right? And so I thought, but you don't want to throw a pick either. So I thought, go back to the QB run. They have run, but on the touchdown drive, Bryson Barnes had 2 good carries, like 6-7 yard kind of things, before he breaks the big one for the touchdown. He might just catch him in a blitz and break another one for a touchdown and win the game. But even if he goes 4 yards, and they stuff him, at least now it's a shorter field goal.
Yeah.
But I did think that if he runs the ball, he'll get 7. And then they'll get a first down, and now you're getting into extra point territory.
Well, and I agree with that, too, because obviously you got a kicker that's dealing with some confidence issues. And so I thought you still have to be aggressive here. Don't leave it up to your field goal kicker, especially at 41 yards. And what really was running through my head, I remember, and by the way, this is going to be going way back in history, I remember the Utah-BYU game in which Jake Heaps took BYU down, but Bronco pulled back and waited for and got, once they got barely into field goal range, they drew back the horses and said, okay, we're going to settle for the field goal, and then Brandon Burton comes up with a block kick, and Utah wins the game. And I remember PK that next morning just saying, you can't take the foot off the gas. You can't take the foot off the gas. And that kept running through my brain in that, because it did feel like they're like, okay, you know what? All we got to do is kick the field goal. Our guy missed one. Chances are he's not going to miss the other one. Come on. And they even did a better job of centering. I talked to Bronco about that. They didn't center the first field goal at the end of regulation. And I said, so was that in your mind? He goes, yeah, we did try to do a better job of centering it on the second field goal, and obviously that didn't work particularly well either.
I think that with college kickers, once you get outside of 40 yards in pressure situations, it gets really dicey.
Yeah.
And we can all cite them where they've made them, but I think there's way more where the kickers have missed them. That's just a much bigger ask for a college kid. In the NFL, it's money. Honestly, in the NFL,
especially
everything
now.
Inside of 50 is money, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, inside of 55 is money.
Yeah.
And between 55 and 60 is no longer ridiculous. That's more of a coin flip.
Yeah.
But those are professional kickers, and it's the cream of the crop, and there's only probably, 3 or 4 kickers admitted to the fraternity in a big year. There just aren't that many. So when you look at college games, you got to put the bar in a different place. So I wasn't surprised they didn't throw it. I was surprised they didn't run Barnes. But the one thing that Bronco did say was that he'd already taken so many hits. And when he's saying that, I called up the box score to make sure I had the right number. It's 22 carries. Now, he doesn't get hit on all of those. He does slide occasionally in the end zone. He may or may not get hit on a touchdown. He may get out of bounds. But this still mostly he's getting hit. And sometimes getting hit more than once.
Yeah. And he's not anywhere near 100% either.
And he's getting hit in the pocket as he throws the ball.
Yeah.
And that was all in Bronco's thing. It was like, hey, we thought we could run the ball. And they didn't, And They have had a good running game with the running backs, but they've had a better game with the QB. And it comes back to, hey, you get an extra blocker, When the quarterback hands off, he takes himself out of the play, and it becomes 10 on 11. So when the quarterback's running the ball, now you really got something.
Yeah. The other element to this, too, is that Tanner Rinker, the field goal kicker, was a perfect 10 for 10 coming into that game. Had not missed a field goal and had been money throughout the year. He had one missed extra point, but it was a blocked extra point, so it really wasn't necessarily on him. So for the most part, he had been perfect on the season. So you kind of have to feel like, okay, you know what, we give him another shot, he's going to be okay. But I did Jazz pre-half and post for a lot of years, and I had a game with the late, great Tom Nasalki, and in a fourth quarter, when a game was close, and somebody was stepping up to the free throw line, Tom would always look at him and goes, 1 for 2. 0 for 2. Like, Tom Nasalki was the king of being able to read body language on basketball players. And after that missed extra point, I looked at the body language. I did a close-up video of a shot of Tanner Rinker, and it was like, ooh.
Yeah. No, I get it. At that point, because he missed the field goal first, right?
Yep.
And then he missed the extra point.
Yeah.
So once he's missed 2 kicks in a game, I get why that would. Especially because as a kicker, like if you make a mistake somewhere else, a linebacker misses a tackle, right? And even if it's a touchdown, like you're right back out there on the next play, and it's right back to the blocking and the tackling, right?
Yeah.
Can they block you? Can you make the tackle? And again, the kicker just stands over there. And there's nothing to do but think about it. And having kicked a little bit, like you wait a long stretch of the game for something to happen. And you start going through situations, you're like, okay, if, it depends on if you're punting or place kicking. As you get to midfield, you start thinking, well, this is going to be my drive.
Yeah.
If you're punting, you're like, they pick up one more first down, and then they have the ball back. Yeah, it could be late second quarter before and so there's just a lot of time to think and get in your head, and everybody else gets to keep playing. And even getting knocked down and run over is better than just standing there thinking about it.
Yeah. And he's not the kickoff guy, so he's not even getting on the field for that.
Right. Yeah. So now it's on to Fresno State.
Yes.
So, a Bronco did mention, because I assume Aggie fans are split on this. PK and I were. PK was like, win a game and get bowl eligible. I'm like, hey, got 4 games left. Look at this league.
Oh, it's
like a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're following the Big 12 here. But like a lot of leagues, there's a lot of teams at 1 and 2 losses, and who's going to the championship game? Right? The Big Ten's different. They're at 0 and 1 loss, 18 teams, and a lot of them aren't good. But even they are thinking, well, if Michigan beats Ohio State, who's in? Who wins that tiebreaker, right? The ACC's got it. And Bronco did say, the guys are devastated because they really thought they had a chance. They had to win 4 in a row. They beat Nevada. Now they have to win 3 in a row. If they win in Vegas, then bowl eligibility, check that box. And now you got to win 2 games to get to the conference title game. And you had to eliminate some people along the way. So now it's fight and scrap and either beat Fresno or Boise to be bowl eligible.
Yeah, and both are going to be very difficult games. On the road against Fresno, home against Boise State.
They will both be difficult, and we'll talk about Fresno State because Fresno State is first. They're going with their backup quarterback, Carson Conklin, a sophomore from Yorba Linda. Scotty, they have so he got some mop-up time back in September, but he takes over in the San Diego State game, and he's now played in 3 games. Now, against San Diego State, he's 20 of 42 for 182 yards. Okay, that's below 50%. That's not good. It's below 200 yards. That's not good. He also threw 2 picks.
Definitely
and
not
one
good.
of them was a pick 6.
Yes.
And they got shut out 23-0. All right, he's your backup quarterback. Well, you got to go to Boise. Okay. Well, Boise's not Boise in the first place. This is a 6-4 Boise State team. This is not an elite Boise team. They went up there, and he went 10 of 21, under 500, 35 yards. You're not even throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage, basically. 35 yards. He didn't have a pick. They won in a blowout, 30-7.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, I know.
And then against Wyoming, he's 12 of 27, under 50% again, for 95 yards, and they win 24-3.
Yeah.
Now, you can argue they don't have to throw the ball much because they're ahead and they're winning because their defense is brilliant. But that's pathetic output from the passing game.
Yeah. This is, you're right. This is going to be really interesting to see this Utah State offense go up against this Fresno State defense. But the biggest story is in this one, can Utah State defensively put the clamps down on this offense, which, frankly, after how they played last week, I think that they should have every opportunity. They look great against Nevada. Coming out of the bye week, defenses looked much, much better. And again, you can look at the stat sheet like, well, geez, they gave up a ton of yards. I know. Don't worry about the yards.
Keep the game
Don't
in front
look at
of
the
you.
yards.
Right.
Yeah. This is a bend but not break defense. Broncos been very upfront about that. This isn't a defense that's going to be like Denver played against Kansas City yesterday. This isn't going to be a lights-out defense. They're going to give up yards. They just have some fundamental issues that they're going to address in the offseason. But there is a scheme to say, okay, we're going to clamp down in the red zone. We're going to force field goals. We're going to be okay. Now can Utah State offensively score points against this defense, which has been phenomenal, especially over the last stretch.
First one of the 10 wins.
Yeah. I don't know what the over-under is on this. I know the over-under in the UNLV game was like 70.5. Is that where you saw it bump up to before it was all said and done?
Yeah, I got to 70. And then that wasn't really the kind of game we had.
No, not even close. And it was funny because who was the why am I spacing the – Dan Mullen said, yeah, we got the two best offenses in the Mountain West Conference, which means it's going to be a 10-7 game. And you know what? He wasn't far from being off on that.
There are some – quotes I've heard that has just been true for a long time. When I worked in Sacramento, so that tells you how long ago that was, the Niners were playing the Falcons, and Jerry Glanville was coaching Atlanta, and he was a quote machine.
Yes.
And Deion Sanders was playing, coaching, he's playing, and he had a spectacular kick return for a touchdown that was electric. And Atlanta won a wild game like 37-34, something crazy. And so in the rematch, Glanville got asked, are you ready for another wild, crazy shootout? He says, I know why you asked that, but no, I'm not. I think there's going to be low-scoring defensive struggle. And they're like, the follow-up question was, why? He says, I have no idea why.
It just happens.
I just know that's when you play inside the division, everybody knows each other, and whatever happens. If you play a low-scoring defensive game, maybe the offensive players get all irritated and get more focused, and the protection's better, and the throws are crisper, and the routes are more precise. The backs break tackles because they're running with more adrenaline. So I don't know why it happens. But if you play a low-scoring game, that's high-scoring. If you play high-scoring, then it's low-scoring. So it's crazy. Now, it wasn't a rematch in this case.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Football's a funny game.
It really is.
I looked up the point spread. You want to take a shot at it?
I will go 49.5.
51.5.
Ooh,
not bad.
We're in the ballpark.
Point spread?
Fresno minus 6.5.
2.5.
Really?
And they give them 3 for home team.
Wow, that surprises me.
They do draw pretty well there, but they haven't been drawing great. Now, it's been a little better, but they played a day game against San Diego State, and it didn't do well.
Yeah.
This will be a night game.
They'll do well.
And it's later in the season, and there's higher stakes, and
they've
coming
won
off
2
a couple
in a row.
of nice wins.
Yeah.
So they're 7-3. They've got a chance to get the conference title game, so it could be a better crowd.
By the way, for those that listen on the radio, I will be in Charleston, and I tried like crazy. I think I told you this last week, to find a way, because basketball plays Friday, Sunday.
Right.
I tried to find flights from Charleston to Fresno so I could get from Charleston to Fresno, call the game, and then get back to Charleston for the game on Sunday. Just couldn't happen.
You need a private jet.
I need a private jet. And I tried even that. Like, I tried to hook up with boosters, and it just wasn't happening. No. So guess who's got the call on the football game? Grandpa Al.
No,
Al
really?
Lewis making his way back.
Okay.
So Al will have the call of the game coming up on Saturday. So a throwback, if you will.
I hope he complains about the referee.
I do too. I do too. And I hope he's calling a lot of high-octave touchdowns.
Have you got it? No, that's not going to happen. Tell him to go high-octave on first downs.
Oh, really?
It's going to be a defensive. Nope. We think it's defensive, so it'll be high score.
So it'll be 32 to 28.
How is that not pass interference?
Oh, one of the greatest calls of all time. BYU, I think, right? Yeah. Love it. All right. So we'll have that complete coverage right here on the KSL Sports Zone. And coming up next week, we will recap the final week of the regular season of the Mountain West Conference and Utah State.
Is Fresno more winnable
than Boise?
I mean, historically, you'd say the Broncos are a tougher opponent. Fresno has the better record, and the Bronco game is at home, even though the Aggies have had pretty close to zero luck against the Broncos.
I would say I would still go Fresno.
Or 2?
Just one.
Just one.
And that was that real funky blowout that Matt Wells had. I would say I would still trust Fresno. It doesn't matter the coaching staff. It doesn't matter where Boise is. Boise's just in the brain of Utah State. You go back to, what was it, 2 years ago when they had lost 4 in a row coming into the Utah State game. Andy Avalos had been fired, which still bugged me. It's like, just give him one more game. One more game. He even beat New Mexico and they still fired him. And
instead, they come together.
And then Spencer Danielson comes in and they beat Utah State that next week. So until they get a win against Boise, I will always look at that Fresno game another game and say that's going to be more likely.
Is New Mexico really good?
New Mexico's solid. It's just that's just what this conference is. Like, everybody's the same almost. You've got Nevada, who Utah State's up 41-0 at halftime, and they go and beat San Jose State 55-10 or something like that.
Torched them.
And San Jose State is not a bad team, but everybody's just the same this year in the Mountain West Conference. Nobody's really good. Nevada's pretty much awful, but they put it on San Jose State.
Is the one thing that San Diego State has a better defense?
Yes. And so San Diego State...
Their offense is nothing.
No. So San Diego State's clear number 1. They'll be in the Mountain West Conference Championship game.
But boy, man, even their defense has had a couple weeks where they didn't look good.
No. And so this conference is not particularly great this year, but that means we're in for a ride every single game. You never know what's going to happen. I thought UNLV... A lot of people thought UNLV was going to win that game big against Utah State, and the Aggies had every opportunity and should have won that game. And frankly, for good chunks of that game, looked like the better team.
San Jose State going to bounce back against San Diego State?
No.
Okay,
no.
Good.
Your Aztecs will roll.
That's what I like to hear right there.
In fact, if they don't, it'll be a massive disappointment.
They don't score enough points. I mean, they got 23 at Fresno because of defense.
Yeah, but they'll win 21-3 or 21-7, something like that. All right, there you go. Ultimate Aggie Podcast. We do it we record it every Monday.
You have anything to say about basketball?
I was not at the UTEP game, but they won that game going away. It was relatively close there for, I don't want to say like the first 28, 30 minutes. Then Utah State runs away and hides from it. Gary Clark is a double machine.
Did it feel a little bit like the Weber State game, you think?
Much better. Okay. I did talk to the coaching staff. I went back and watched the film. Coaching staff felt much better about that than the Weber State game. They were not thrilled with the effort in that Weber State game. If you heard Coach Calhoun afterwards, you would have thought that was a 10-point loss because he was fired up.
The great thing is that sometimes when coaches think they've had it made and the program's established and the building is full, whether that's a stadium, an arena, or whatever, the media access is limited and the cliches. The media access goes down and the cliches go up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just his nature, because I don't know him well enough. I don't know if it's just his nature or if he figures, hey, I'm in Utah State and I got to make sure I sell it, so I can't. I know what a lot of coaches do, but that can't be me here.
Yeah.
But I find his press conferences pretty to the point. His media access, regardless of whether it's a press conference or when he comes on our show or he comes on your show or your post game with him, he usually just gets right to it.
Yep.
And I love that.
And he doesn't even care what you ask. He knows what he wants to say, and he's going to say.
I don't even know what you have to. I mean, you can just hit him. A lot of times with a coach, it's best to say, what'd you think?
Yeah.
I found, because you could get truthful answers about 5 different things, but what do you think in a post-game interview or the press conference right after, then you find out what's on the top of their list.
And then you go
5
from there.
things can be true, but there might be one thing that they think is really, really important.
I mean, he went on a tirade after the Weber State game about social media.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just about how these guys are reading too much about themselves and they need to get off social media. They care too much about what people think. And just went, it was phenomenal. Great radio. And look, I've worked with a lot of basketball coaches. He's my 5th coach in 9 years. And so everyone has treated me great. I've had great experiences. He is by far the most transparent publicly. Now, a lot of coaches were transparent with me privately, but not publicly. He's both.
Yeah.
Anything you want to know, he'll tell you.
He'll tell you.
There's no smoke and mirrors with that guy. He doesn't play any games. There's no Kyle Whittingham, hide injuries, things like that. I'm joking. Kyle doesn't. Maybe just a little bit.
There's a couple things about people having to get better right now and stay off social media. One, all of us. I mean, I'm on social media for work. If it weren't for work,
I
could walk away from it so easily.
Yes.
My wife has no accounts anywhere. I mean, but for work, we have to be on it. And then the thing I would say to players is no matter how good you are and no matter how much you're winning right now, college basketball players and teams improve so much in season. It's not just, you've got this much talent, you've got that much talent, and that's it. There has to be growth because November college basketball loses to February college basketball or March college basketball if time travel were possible.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter, not to say this on this, all the Aggies, but BYU. UConn, BYU, that was a great game. Top 10 teams. They both have to get better.
Yeah.
UConn won the game. Okay, BYU has to get better because of us. You have to get better. You can't. You will pay for it so badly late in the season. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably find somebody like that. There's often somebody who starts on a huge roll. My own Gaucho started 15-1 one year and ended up in the NIT. There was dissension on the team, teammates who didn't like each other. And once it slipped a little bit and they weren't getting better and they weren't putting in the work and it wasn't that, and it just all fell apart.
Yeah.
It's completely turned into a 500 team. You got to get better.
Well, I like Utah State last year. Got off to a really hot start, got into a hot start in the Mountain West Conference, and then fizzled down the stretch. There were a lot of issues, injuries piled up. That coaching staff did a great job with smoke and mirrors, kind of disguising a lot of deficiencies they had, and people started to figure it out. That zone defense gave people problems, and then, again, people start figuring things out.
That's a great example. The matchup zone early in the year, and teams having practice against it, you can pile up the wins, but you got to get better.
Yeah, yep. And so that's why they got longer and more athletic this offseason. All right, there you go. Ultimate Aggie Podcast. Thanks for watching / listening, and we'll do it again next week right here on 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone.
See ya.